practice, premises and personnel to ensure adherence to minimum quality assurance standards as enshrined in the PCN Establishment Act 2022 and relevant regulations and guidelines. Chirema further said that offences included operating illegal premises or shops, non-renewal of premises registration, carrying out clinical practice, unauthorized access to controlled medicines, overstocking beyond the approved patent medicine list, training of apprentices, and retailing by wholesale premises. Akwa Ibom State Police Command says it has arrested 4 suspected vandals during a raid of scrap dump sites in the state. This is contained in a statement by the State Public Relations Officer, DSP Timfon John in Uyo, the state capital, on Friday. John said the suspects were apprehended on July 15 following an intelligence-led raid of 2 scrap dump sites in Uyo. She said that during the raid, a significant quantity of suspected stolen government and public property was recovered. The police spokesperson said pieces of generator sets, suspected vandalized government aluminium, electric cables, roofing sheets and burnt copper electric wires were recovered from the suspects. Other items recovered include a new set of assorted sizes of spanners, approximately half a bag of 5-inch nails, an empty 5 kg gas cylinder, galvanized pipes and angle bars. John said that the investigation was ongoing and suspects would be charged to court as soon as the investigation is concluded. Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Ekaite Obot, on Friday, announced the release of 123 inmates, including an 18-year-old mentally challenged girl said to have been eating foam and other objects while in custody. Obot granted freedom to the inmates during the second quarter of 2025 tour of the medium security custodial centers, which began on Monday and ended on Friday at the Uyu Correctional Center. Of the 123 released inmates, 4 were from the Ikota Basi Custodial Center, 17 from the Eket Center, 29 from the Ikota Pene Center, while 73 regained their freedom at the Uyu Custodial Center. A total of 62 inmates were released on health grounds, including cases of anemia, scabies, and tuberculosis. Worried about the spread of diseases in the centers, the CJ instructed that the dormitory where all the sick inmates were camped be properly sanitized and that no new inmates should be placed there in the meantime to prevent further spread of infections. She observed that most of the offenders had committed minor offenses and had overstayed in custody beyond the duration they would have served if convicted. One of such case was that of Etieno Okun, who was 15 years old when he was detained. He had been in custody for 5 years without trial on a courtesan charge and was released alongside his father. Abbott expressed displeasure over the number of inmates awaiting trial, some without any charges filed against them, and noted that several had stayed longer than the maximum sentence they might have received if convicted. She charged prosecutors to ensure that no one is denied justice and urged them to respect the fundamental rights of the accused. Nigeria's Center for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed an outbreak of dengue fever in Edo State between June 9th and 13th, 2025. In response to the rising risk and threats of diseases outbreaks, NCDC said it was alerting the public and stakeholders of its ongoing coordinated national response to recent surges in these infectious disease outbreaks. The center said it is working closely with state governments, health partners, and communities to strengthen surveillance, provide treatment supplies, deploy rapid response teams, and other communication and community engagement efforts to contain outbreaks and reduce their impact. According to the center, Nigeria is already experiencing a rising incidence of cholera, while yellow fever and dengue fever are beginning to be detected in some states. The NCDC said it confirmed the outbreak dengue fever through laboratory testing and underscores the growing risk posed by vector-borne diseases. To prevent infection from mosquito-borne diseases such as yellow fever and dengue fever, the NCDC advised the public to, among other measures, eliminate mosquito breeding sites by clearing stagnant water and covering water storage containers. It also urged residents to use personal protective measures such as insect repellents, insecticide-treated nets, and long-sleeved clothing. In addition, NCDC urged the people to get vaccinated against yellow fever, which remains the most effective prevention method. Abia State Police Command on Thursday said it apprehended 4 suspects over criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, and recovered a firearm. The command's public relations officer, DSP Maureen Chinaka, in a statement issued on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Danladi Isa, said the suspects are Jerry Chisom, male, 32 years of age, Umagu Ugwele Uturu, Abia State, Tochukwu Ugula, male, 32 years of Amadi Akara, Uturu, Abia State, Chinonso Wankwo, male, 28 years of Mbaka Ugweli, Uturu, Abia State, and Kingsley Onyekeba, male, 19 years of Aron Guzu, Idiado, Imo State. The raids, the PPRO said, were carried out at a criminal hideout along the Uturu Isu Kwato area, adding that 1 locally made pistol, 1 knife, 1 iPhone 7 Plus, 1 Infinix phone, and 1 laptop exhibits were recovered. She further explained that in connection with the ongoing raids along the Uturu Isikwato area, the command had identified and dismantled other criminal camps to rid the area of criminal elements and their activities. The Commissioner of Police, Abia State Command, CP Danladi Isa, urged the good people of Abia State to continue to partner the police and to report any suspicious person and activity to the police. Traditional chief who was kidnapped along with a commercial motorcyclist in the community close to Akure, Ondo State, has been rescued by operatives of the State Security Network Agency known as Amoteco Corps. According to the security outfit, the victims were rescued from the abductors following alarm raised by residents, which led to the overnight chase of kidnappers. While revealing this to journalists at the headquarters of the Corps in Akure, the state capital, the Amoteco commander Akogun Adetunji Adeleye stated that the victims were rescued without the payment of ransom. The Amoteco boss, who also disclosed that 5 kidnapping cases were filed in the state within the last 2 weeks, stated that no fewer than 17 suspects were arrested for various crimes. Lagos State Management Authority has stated that 2 female individuals, Margaret Solomon, 29 years, and Onya Elizabeth, 42 years, will be tried for illegal waste dumping and non-compliance with environmental laws. The apprehension followed a night operation by the Waste Infractions and Surveillance Team at Sango Tedo along the Lekki Expressway between the evening of Tuesday and the early hours of Wednesday. According to a post by the Laoma Chief Executive Officer, Muyiwa Gbadegeshi, on his X handle on Friday, he disclosed that upon their arrest, they were unable to provide a correct residential address and have been transferred to the agency's legal team for prosecution in line with Lagos State Environmental Management and Protection Law. He added that photo and video evidence were gathered on site to aid legal proceedings. He said every resident had a legal duty to dispose of their waste properly and maintain a clean environment and comply with the state's environmental laws. Muyiwa urged residents to register with their assigned waste operators, secure a LAWMA-approved smart bin, pay their waste bills properly, avoid illegal waste dumping, and use authorized waste collection points. He stated that the failure to adhere to the rules would lead to arrests, fines up to 250,000 and 3 months imprisonment. Lagos Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu has commissioned Nigeria's first radio station owned and operated by a local government. The pioneering station, located in Mushin local government, underscores the importance of effective information dissemination to the populace. Sanwo-Olu, represented by his deputy Kadri Obafemi Hamzat, launched the station as part of several legacy projects executed by the chairman of Mushin local government, Emmanuel Olarenwaju Bamigboye, at Oliyide Street, Mushin. According to a statement on the Facebook handle of the Lagos State Government, the governor lauded the initiative, describing it as laudable and worthy of emulation by other local government areas. The governor stated that the state is progressing under the All Progressives Congress, adding that as roads have been commissioned, primary health care, schools, administrative blocks, and so many more are launched. He reiterated further that to be able to stand on that mandate, every resident must possess a voter's card, stressing that those who are yet to possess the voter's card should ensure they go out when the registration process commences, as the prosperity of the nation strongly depends on the reforms and policies of the president. Gombe State Police Command has confirmed the death of Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP Clement Yunana, who was killed in a hit-and-run accident on Wednesday evening. In a statement released on Friday, the command's public relations officer, DSP Buhari Abdullahi, said the late officer was attached to the Railway Police Outstation, Bajoga Division. According to Abdullahi, the incident occurred around 5 p.m. opposite Matrix Filling Station in Tumfuri, Akko local government area. He said the driver fled the scene without stopping or offering help, leaving the officer with serious injuries. The command also appealed to members of the public to come forward with any useful information that could aid the investigation. Gombe State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association on Friday outrightly rejected a recent circular issued by the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission reviewing allowances for medical and dental officers in the federal public service, describing it as unjust, demoralizing, and a violation of previously agreed terms. The decision was reached during an emergency virtual general meeting of the association held on Monday, July 14, 2025, convened to address the implications of the June 27 circular. According to the association, the circular undermines the welfare of doctors and breaches existing collective bargaining agreements reached with the federal government. The association warned that such actions could further exacerbate the ongoing brain drain crisis in Nigeria's health sector. This was contained in a communique signed by Dr. Ahmad Adamu Kebo, chairman of the NMA Gombe State Branch, and Dr. Lembi Samuel, secretary, which was obtained by our correspondent on Friday. The association affirmed that the Gombe NMA fully supports the 21-day ultimatum earlier issued by the national body of the federal government, noting that the NMA at both national and state levels would not hesitate to embark on lawful actions to ensure their demands are met. Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has arraigned one Mr. Popuna Samuel and Mr. Arama Davis Kiandi before a federal high court sitting in Yola, Adamawa State, over an alleged diversion of funds released by the World Bank for the rehabilitation of schools affected by insurgency within the state. The two were charged with money laundering and converting funds belonging to school-based management committees while serving as officers under the State Education Investment Project in 2020. They allegedly laundered over 4.9 million naira through personal accounts. Both pleaded not guilty. The court granted them bail at 5 million naira each, with strict conditions including a surety who must be a senior public servant or registered company director. Trial begins October 22, 2025. Kaduna State Police Command on Friday announced the arrest of a notorious bandit leader who had been on the run for over a decade, alongside 3 suspected motorcycle thieves across the state. In a statement, the Bajil, a 34-year-old resident of Ongowan Galadima in Shika district, Jiwa local government area of Kaduna State, was said to have led a criminal gang that terrorized communities across Kaduna and Katsina states for years. He said Bajil had been on the police wanted list for 11 years for alleged involvement in multiple attacks in Giwa, Nkui, Faskari, Dandume, and Funtua local government areas spanning both Kaduna and Katsina states. According to Hassan, the suspect was arrested at his residence where police operatives recovered a significant cake of arms and ammunition. Items recovered from the suspect, he said, include one AK-47 rifle, one fabricated AK-47 rifle, one pump action, two English pistols, two AK-47 magazines, two Lear rifle magazines, four fabricated AK-47 bolts, four AK-47 live ammunition rounds, 10 pump action cartridges, 87 rounds of pistol ammunition, one machete, two torchlights, one on-jamming rod. He noted that Bayagil remained in custody as investigations continue, with police intensifying efforts to apprehend other fleeing members of his gang. Larry Olayinka, reacting, Olayinka cautioned the lawmaker against using Wiki's name as a launch pad. Plateau State government has faulted the failure of the soldiers of the Nigerian army to arrest the killers of 27 farmers in the Tahos community of the Riyom local government area of Plateau State on Monday. The state government blamed the military for the failure to arrest or neutralize any of the suspected killer headsmen, despite establishing contact with them during the attack. They said the community that was attacked by the vicious marauders was close to an access road which has military checkpoints. The statement further stated that the fresh killings of the people of Plateau were unprovoked and despicable, adding that besides killing the people, the assailants go into the farm and destroy all their crops. The statement echoed the sentiments of Governor Caleb Mutfwang, who visited the community on Wednesday and described the perpetual killings of the people by bloodthirsty marauders as a genocide. For months, Plateau State in north-central Nigeria has been a cynosure of killings. The greasy killing of over 100 residents by bloodthirsty marauders were unleashed mayhem on communities in the Bokos and Bassa local government areas of the state in April attracted national and global outrage. The death toll in the April 2025 attacks was the highest casualty figure in the spate of killings recorded in the state after daredevil criminals killed about 150 residents in Bokos on Christmas Eve in 2023. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the continued development of Akwa Ibom State, assuring that the federal government will work closely with the state in line with the Renewed Hope agenda and the state's Arise agenda. The president gave the assurance on Friday when he received in audience the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Omo Eno, and two senators from the state, Senator Anyekan Akpan and Senator Ekong Samson. This was contained in a statement obtained from Government House Press Unit on Friday. President emphasized his dedication to inclusive national development and praised Governor Omo Eno's Arise agenda as a strategic complement to the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda. The visit also featured the formal presentation of Senators Anyekan Akpan and Ekong Samson, who recently defected to the All Progressives Congress. The delegation issued the occasion to commiserate with the president on the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari, describing his death as a national loss and acknowledging his legacy in strengthening Nigeria's democracy. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Muhammad Babangida, son of former military dictator Ibrahim Babangida, as chairman of the revamped Bank of Agriculture. This was disclosed in a statement on Friday by the president's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga. Babangida, 53, holds a degree in business administration and a master's in public relations and business communication from the European University in Switzerland. He also completed an executive program on corporate governance at Harvard Business School in 2002. The statement also announced the appointments of several other individuals to leadership roles in federal agencies. Lydia Kalat Musa Kaduna, Chairman Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority; Jamilu Wada Aliyu Kano, Chairman National Educational Research and Development Council; Yahuza Ado Inowa Kano, Chairman Standard Organization of Nigeria; Professor Al Mustafa Alhaji Aliyu Sokoto, DG, Directorate of Technical Cooperation in Africa; Sanusi Gaba Rick G. Zamfara, DG, Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations; Mrs. Tomi Somefun Oyo, MD, National Hydroelectric Power Areas Development Commission, and others. Federal government on Friday urged the Federal High Court in Abuja to reject the no-case submission filed by the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The federal government's lead counsel, Adeboyega Awomolo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, made the plea while responding to the no-case application presented by Kanu Awomolo. Awomolo told the trial judge, Justice James Omotosho, that Kanu had made a broadcast on Radio Biafra in which he openly and publicly declared his intention to break up Nigeria. He added that Kanu not only threatened to disintegrate the country, but also declared his plan to establish a Republic of Biafra. Awomolo emphasized that Kanu's declaration was not a mere empty threat, but a deliberate and dangerous one, stating that his broadcast caused widespread fear among Nigerians. He argued that boasting about breaking up Nigeria constitutes a serious national security concern and should not be dismissed as mere rhetoric, as claimed by Kanu. Awomolo further alleged that Kanu in the broadcast directed his followers to target and kill policemen and their families, noting that more than 170 security personnel were killed shortly afterwards. Awomolo urged the courts to reject the no-case submission and compel Kanu to open his defense, arguing that the application was both misplaced and misconceived. He maintained that the Biafra agitator had the case to answer on the 7-count terrorism charge brought against him by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. However, Kanu, through his lead counsel, Chief Kanu Agabi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, challenged the validity of the prosecution's case and asked the court to discharge and acquit, among other points. Agabi argued that no witness had testified that they were incited to violence by Kanu throughout the proceedings. Arabi further contended that no investigation was conducted into the statements allegedly made by Kanu, and no investigative report regarding the terrorism allegations was presented in court. He highlighted that the charges against Kanu had been amended 8 times, yet no witness came forward to claim they were incited by him. Justice Omotosho, after listening to arguments for and against the no-case submission, adjourned the matter until October 10 for ruling. Armed Forces of Nigeria has launched the 2025 first biannual sensitization training on stress management, post-traumatic stress disorder, and emotional intelligence for troops deployed in active combat theaters. The training held on Friday at the 8th Division Auditorium in Sokoto was targeted at officers and soldiers involved in Operation Fansan, Yama, and other internal security operations across the country. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, reaffirmed the military's commitment to the mental health of its personnel, noting that troops not only confront physical threats but also endure deep emotional and psychological strain in the line of duty. Speaking to the Director of Innovation and Concept Development, Defense Headquarters, Major General Wara Idris, the CDS emphasized that managing mental health is as crucial as physical preparedness in modern warfare. He called for emotional resilience to be embedded in military training and for mental health support systems to be integrated into operational routines across all commands. The training brought together military psychologists, mental health experts, and personnel from various formations to share practical knowledge, build peer support, and promote a culture of psychological preparedness. Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, has called on Nigerians to stop abusing the naira, warning that acts such as spraying and stamping on the national currency are not cultural practices but punishable offenses under the law. Olukoyede made the remarks on Friday in Lagos during a stakeholder sensitization program. Describing the naira as a symbol of our sovereignty, the EFCC boss expressed concern over the continued abuse of the currency, particularly at social gatherings where it is commonly sprayed, mutilated, or stamped. He disclosed that the Commission has intensified efforts to clamp down on unlicensed foreign exchange dealers and those found abusing the naira. According to him, the EFCC is working closely with the Central Bank of Nigeria and has set up a dedicated task force on dollarization and naira abuse. He also addressed criticisms that the EFCC should focus on high-profile crimes, insisting that all violations of the law are taken seriously. Olukoyede stressed that under his leadership, the EFCC has adopted a more strategic approach that balances enforcement with economic recovery and support for legitimate businesses. He revealed that over 100 billion naira in recovered proceeds of crime have been channeled to fund key social intervention programs under the Tinubu administration. These include the Nigerian Education Loan Fund and the Credit Corp Consumer Credit Scheme. Acting National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Umar Damagum, has reacted to the resignation of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar from the party. 2 days ago, Atiku resigned from PDP, citing the party's deviation from its founding principles. Prior to his resignation, Atiku was part of those who assembled to form the opposition coalition that adopted the African Democratic Congress (ADC). With his resignation from PDP, there are indications that Atiku would contest for presidency under ADC. Reacting to the developments, Damagum said the PDP would be stronger without Atiku. The PDP acting national chairman spoke while addressing journalists in Bauchi on Friday. He disclosed that this is not the first time that Atiku would dump the PDP for other political parties. Damagum said the current resignation was in line with his past actions, stressing that PDP is accustomed to such. He also insisted that Atiku's resignation and actions pose no significant threat. Labour Party Statutory National Executive Committee has elected Senator Usman Nenadi as interim national chairman and Senator Darlington Wokocha as the interim national secretary, among others, as members of the party's interim working committee. Nenadi was elected on Friday during the party's NEC meeting in Abuja. The interim working committee is expected to oversee all party activities till the party's convention, when elections for a new NEC will be conducted. Other resolutions reached during the meeting include the approval of the schedule for the conduct of world congresses, local government area congresses, state congresses, zonal congresses, and the national convention of the Labour Party. The National Secretariat of the party is mandated to publish the guidelines and timelines to ensure transparent and democratic elections at all levels. Nigerian Communications Commission has announced a new licensing framework designed to foster innovation and expand opportunities for startups and technology-driven enterprises within the telecommunications sector. The Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, Dr. Aminu Mida, disclosed this in a speech delivered on his behalf by the Executive Commissioner for Stakeholder Management, Barrister Rimini Makama, at a stakeholders forum on the draft General Authorization Framework held in Abuja. Maida said the General Authorization Framework was designed to offer a more flexible and responsive approach to telecom licensing, one that recognizes and accommodates emerging services not currently captured under the existing regime. According to him, the new framework introduces 3 key regulatory instruments, including proof of concept, pilots to test novel solutions in real-world conditions, and regulatory sandbox to allow controlled testing of ideas like open, RAN, and spectrum sharing, and an interim service authorization for services that fall outside current licensing categories. Mida explained that these tools will provide innovators, whether startups or large firms, a safe environment to demonstrate feasibility, assess risk, or validate ideas before going to the market. Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has uncovered a fresh racket involving some of its affiliate marketers and strategic partners who have been diverting subsidized refined petroleum products for profit, prompting the suspension of the refinery's discounted fuel supply scheme. Investigations by the refinery revealed that certain marketers who were granted discounted products meant to ensure affordability and steady supply across retail outlets had been rerouting the loaded trucks to unregistered third-party marketers. The scheme was originally designed to support Dangote's registered affiliate marketers in achieving stable profit margins amid price competition from fuel importers, while also guaranteeing nationwide availability of the refinery's products. However, the marketers were found to be circumventing the distribution chain by allowing importing non-registered marketers to pick up products from the refinery using their authority to collect loading tickets. This allowed them to cash in on the price differential without incurring legitimate costs associated with logistics, retail station operations, or administrative compliance, making fast profits. The refinery noted that the diverted products were often sold at market rates far above the agreed subsidized prices, effectively undermining the core objectives of the scheme, and distorting the downstream market myth by this situation. The refinery directed the suspension of its discount scheme for its customers with effect from July 13, 2025. If you're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network, and up next is International Tidbits. At least 33 people have been killed and dozens injured by lightning strikes during severe monsoon storms in eastern India this week, officials confirmed on Friday. The fatalities were recorded in Bihar state between Wednesday and Thursday, according to a statement from the State Disaster Management Department. Most of the victims were farmers and laborers caught in the open during the storms. Heavy rainfall and further lightning are expected to continue in parts of the state, prompting renewed warnings from authorities. Bihar's Disaster Management Minister Vijay Kumar Mandal told newsmen that officials in high-risk areas have been instructed to raise public awareness and encourage precautionary measures following fresh lightning alerts. South Korea is set to overhaul its adoption system on Saturday by ending the decades-old practice of outsourcing adoptions to private agencies, which has led to widespread allegations of abuse. South Korea, Asia's fourth-largest economy and a global cultural powerhouse, sent more than 140,000 children overseas between 1955 and 1999. But an official inquiry concluded this year that the international adoption process had been riddled with irregularities, including fraudulent orphan registrations, identity tampering, and inadequate vetting of adoptive parents. The rights of South Korean children had been violated, the landmark investigation by a Truth Commission found. The independent body established by the state called for an official apology and blamed the government for the issues, especially a failure to regulate adoption fees that effectively turn into a profit-driven industry. On Saturday, South Korea will introduce a newly restructured public adoption system under which the state and local governments take full responsibility for the entire adoption process, South Korea's Ministry of Health and Welfare said. The change is a significant step towards ensuring the safety and promoting the rights of adopted children, the ministry added. Here now is ATN Sports News. Confederation of African Football has omitted Nigerian officials from list of referees and assistant referees that will officiate at the upcoming 2024 African Nations Championship. CAF named 70 match officials for the biennial competition, which is designed for players who feature in their country's domestic leagues. The list includes 26 referees, 26 assistant referees, and 18 video match officials. The officials are drawn from 30 member associations. CAF has over the years overlooked Nigerian officials for major competitions. This edition of the CHAN will be hosted by 3 countries, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. The competition will run from 2 to 30th August 2025. Napoli have given Galatasaray a deadline of next Monday to sort out paperwork for Victor Osimhen. According to Football Italia, the two clubs have agreed terms on the ante-Serie A clause and percentage issues. Napoli has negotiated with Galatasaray for Osimhen's sale all summer. The Turkish champions are desperate to have Osimhen on a permanent basis after he spent last season on loan. During his short stint in Istanbul, the Super Eagles striker netted 37 goals and provided 8 assists in 41 appearances. Gala have seen at least 4 offers rejected but are now close to wrapping up the transfer. However, Napoli are not going to wait for a long time to get the deal over the line. A deadline of next week Monday has been set, with the Serie A side believing it would be enough for Galatasaray to get all the necessary paperwork in order. Galatasaray will pay 40 million euros upfront and the remaining 35 million in installments by June 2026. And now to our entertainment news. Singer-songwriter Adekunle Gold has released the highly anticipated new single Cocoa Money, his second official single for the year. The track, which was first teased at the exclusive dinner event in May, is a vibrant and catchy blend of Afro-pop, Afrobeats, and highlife, reflecting Adekunle Gold's signature style and smooth vocals. Produced by Nif Keys, Cocoa Money's lyrics, which explore themes of wealth, luxury, and confidence, align with Adekunle Gold's recent embrace of a soft life aesthetic. The single marks Adekunle Gold's first major release since his February 2025 track Obimo, and continues his artistic evolution following the success of his fifth studio album Tequila Ever After, released in 2023. Nigerian singer Ira Star has said she made a great choice with Rihanna as her musical idol. In a recent chat with E-Talk TV star, described Rihanna as an amazing person and somebody to look up to. She recalled meeting Rihanna for the first time, and the billionaire pop star revealing to her that she's a fan of her music. Star revealed that what delighted her the most about the meeting was discovering that she's her favorite artist's favorite artist. Arasta said she's looking forward to collaborating with Rihanna in the future. And that's the global news for tonight, but before we go, another look at the major stories. Court dismisses bid to halt Rivers budget approval by NAS. NCDC confirms outbreak of dengue fever in Edo State. Tinubu appoints Muhammad Babangida as Agricultural Bank Chair. NCC unveils new licensing framework to boost tech innovation. Lightning strikes killed 33 people in eastern India. Napoli set Monday deadline to sell Osimhen. Adekunle Gold releases new single Cocoa Money. I am Francis Neka. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do have a great night rest.